guys, good morning. Welcome back to our channel. It's been a while that we don't came here to our site because we don't see any progress going on. So hopefully this time we're gonna have some progress so that we can show you what's going on.
Well, they actually do have progress, but it's slow going because they're still on that tie beam foundation portion, and quite frankly, we're just hoping that they're going to get out of the ground on that. So we're going to head out over to the site and see what it looks like. Okay. Well, folks, we're on site here at Tia Maria, and the crew has got their assembly line going. They got the mixer turned on, and they're shoveling concrete into those buckets and passing that on down to the crew. And they're going ahead and filling the tie beams to complete that foundation pour in that one section. They've got 3 sections left to do. They'll hit this first section over there, and then they'll roll into the middle section here, and they're going to do this last section over here. Will be the last section that they've completed before they can come out of the ground. And again, we're hoping by the beginning to the middle of next week that they'll be completely out of the ground, and for us that'll be super good news. And the weather seems to be holding. I don't want to jinx it, but and we've got a nice warm day. We've had about 3 or 4 days right now of rain free, and the crew's really taking advantage of it. As you can see, how dry the footings are now, the trench areas where they're laying the foundation, and that makes it ideal for pouring concrete. You can see we're down here at ground level, and they're pouring the actual concrete into the footings. You can see they've got that tube that's connected to a compressor, and that compressor forces air into the concrete because our project manager uses a lot thicker mix than what they do here most of the time in the Philippines. And that pump gets forces the concrete, the bubbles out, and allows that concrete to become more compact, and it gives it a lot better. When they compact it, it turns out to be a lot better. There's not so many holes in it, and it turns out to be a cleaner pour all along. It gives a lot more support in the long run. Move over here, you can see. Oh, tough getting around here, folks.
So it's look like all the tie beam are all tied together, which is a good news. And hopefully this week all the tie beam will be poured.
So that air forces the bubbles out, right?
Yeah, but you should drop the vibrator in slow, easy in and out, slowly, not like,
But this part they're starting to do the tie beam also here. But hopefully there's no more rain so that we can finish this tie beam.
Day out here in Lipa City. I'll tell you right now, the breeze is going, sunshine's out, and it's a nice warm day with no rain in sight. Take a look at pan of those skies, at least for the next couple hours anyway, because the weather can change here at any time. Well, like I said, we're on site down here at Lipa City at our build, and the footings are all completely poured now, which is good news. And they're actually coming out of the ground. I wish I could have reported today that they're completely out of the ground, but and I know that they're going up. They're working at from the far side of the house over here, and then they're going that direction with the walls coming up out of the ground, and then they'll backfill once that's done, and have to use some gravel because there are some big spaces to fill here. One thing I noticed I didn't really care for, and these are questions I have that I'm going to put to my builder here. It looks like the support corner where the rebar is, it looks like it's out of line to me. And I'm going to ask why that is and how much of an effect that's going to have. Is it aesthetics, or is it going to be a support issue down the road? Because it doesn't line up with that wall going down the road there. One thing that you got to remember, especially for a guy like me who's come out of the States where everything is done, at least on the West Coast, is done with stick framing or wood framing. The concrete hollow block, man, it's just ugly to look at with all this cement, the way it's exposed like that, and the finish on them. I'm used to seeing that nice textured finish, all proper, but this is the way it's done all through the Philippines. And then that plaster coat pretty much is a fix or a hide-all for everything. And there's almost a lot of debate too about these support columns when they pour them. Some people will pour, I've seen the columns poured first. I'm no engineer or no construction expert on it, but I know that these all have to be tied in properly with the cement that actually creeps into the crevices of the hollow block, the CHP hollow block. It gives it a much better seal. It's not as pretty as some of the other sites that I've seen that use that soft, watery concrete, and it makes a nice looking pour. As you go over to here, here's one of the columns here, and I don't understand. If you look at it, it's tilted. It looks like it's tilted toward the back of the house. But again, I've been told that's more of an aesthetics than a support issue. And you can see the way that when they poured this, how the concrete has actually flown, has come out of the sides of the form and adhered to the concrete hollow block, which is a good thing, because they say that when it's ugly looking like this, the seal is much better than when you get those perfect symmetrical columns going up and down with and then the CHP mates into it. This way it locks itself into the crevices and gives a better build altogether, more secure. But you can see here that they got all the footings done, which are awesome, super good for a guy like me anyway. You can see it's lunchtime here, man, and the crew is wiped out. These guys work hard, a hard-working group of guys. Here's another section right here. We're talking about how that corner column, actually how the cement creeps into the CHP block, which gives it a really good seal all through the different parts of the house. I can't wait. I know I keep saying it, and you folks are probably tired of me saying it, but I cannot wait till this thing gets completely out of the ground. I'm standing in what's going to be the garage of this house, and then on the other side of the garage, which will be our great room or our living room, and then on the other side of that will be the actual kitchen. So they're making good progress. We intentionally have not come out and taken video because it doesn't look like there's much progress that gets done, but there is. This when they pour this stuff by hand, it takes a lot of extra work, and it's not as fast as when they set up when they have a concrete truck come in and dump it all at one time. And they can't do that with a CHP. They'd have to have a huge crew to put all this stuff down. But you can see that all the forms are done there and then done over on this side, everything is done, and now they're putting the CHP down, and they're coming out of the ground with it. All the beams are in place, the tie beams have been done, so they have made a lot of progress. It just doesn't look like it until you actually get here and start looking at in the trenches and to see what's going on. Now they just have to come out and just continue to come up, and then they're going to roll, like I said, from one side to the far side. Going to get this done. They're going to go all the way up. I don't like what I see here. I don't care for that way. That concrete just looks like somebody's just tossed concrete into a broken, or patched pieces of broken hollow block into it, instead of actually taking a hollow block, cut it in half. I have to ask our concrete, or excuse me, I have to ask our concrete guy, or ask Dave about it, find out what's going on. But man, I can't wait till we get above ground. We start seeing the first floor poured in here. Once that's done, I don't think there's going to be any stopping these guys. Even with the bad weather, I don't think it's going to make a difference, because sure, it might slow them down a bit, but I think overall they're going to continue to go forward, especially with the amount of guys they got on site now. There's close to 10 guys on this foundation work alone, or getting these walls raised. So all these masonry guys that are putting this concrete down, and that is good. The walls look pretty straight though. I took a look at them. All look really straight. And I've seen stuff been fortunate enough to get onto some of these job sites, and man, it's amazing what that plaster coat will cover. Even when these guys get out of sight, even some of the finish homes that we've seen here, some of the vlogs that I watch too, you can see it. If they put that shiny, it's amazing when if they put a shiny coat of paint down, it's got a lot of sheen to it. You can sure see those walls. You can see the buckling in those walls, versus even by putting a flat coat or a rougher kind of coat on it, it's got a texture to it. It doesn't reflect as much. These guys know all the tricks in hiding these walls that keep them straight anyway.